Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Without a real home, our next guest is a real free bird, but Spanish Fork has become one of her regular stops between her jobs on the road. Let's welcome Elaine Brackin, an aerialist and singer, to the table.
Wow,
aren't we lucky?
You sound like you could thoroughly entertain us for the next 10 minutes.
Yes.
I think I can do that. 10 minutes? Sounds like a
10 minutes.
Let's do it. Let's
Tell us about who are you?
Well, so my name's Elaine Brackin again.
Okay.
I'm from Florida, but I grew up in Idaho. And so I have family in Spanish Fork.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of in between
Kind
the
of in
two
between.
spots.
Yeah. Yes. I'm a singer, I'm an aerialist, and I travel a lot.
Do you do those things at the same time?
Not yet, but we're literally in the middle of making an act where I will.
Stop.
That sounds
Okay.
a little difficult.
Yes, I mean, it's a lot of cardio. And
Right.
Just
Oh, yeah.
finding positions where you can really, because your diaphragm can't do all that at once safely. So you will pause, sing something, and then continue on with
Okay.
So Pink, singer Pink, she is trained to do that a little bit, right?
exactly. This is exactly the idea.
Wow, I mean,
Well,
it's
and I was
both very difficult.
Yes. Okay, so how did you get started in this world?
So I started pretty late, and I was actually anti-sporty, but I was training to, I was trying to get fit because I had a music video that I was filming, and I was doing it with a dancer that I think he's really amazing, and I wanted to be at least somewhat physically fit. So I started going to bar classes, and at the place that they had the bar classes, they had aerialists, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. I would love to make a music video with that. And so I went to my first class, and I couldn't do a pull-up. So I was like, well,
That's a lot of strength.
this is going to take a minute.
Now, when you said you started later in life, like what age?
28.
But you
That
were a
is a little
dancer
later.
leading up to this.
I had never done any kind of, when I say not physical, I don't know if people can really understand.
She's anti.
Anti, yeah. I skipped PE class. I didn't ever run the mile.
This is like a
didn't want
funny
to do
story.
it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
were you a singer at this
Yes,
point? Okay.
I sang from when I was
Okay.
Okay.
yay high, you know.
All right, so
28,
that led
though, I'm
into
thinking
this.
like, oh, I started late. I didn't start till 9.
No, and this is funny because so I'm a teacher as well, and I'll have students that are like, I don't know, I'm already 18, can I really? And I'm like, what? Yeah.
You're like, it's never too late.
Come on, get on that silk.
But like how inspirational that is to
Yes,
hear.
very.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so music video went to
Yeah,
this
so
class.
I wanted to make this music video, but I couldn't do any of it. So I started training 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes more, but then the teacher would be like, hey, so like you have to take breaks. And basically I just really,
You kind of got addicted.
really went for it.
Like
I
you-
got addicted.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, my personality in general is addictive. Once I decide I'm going to do something,
Okay.
there's no like middle ground.
Yeah,
It's
but how could that
all
be
in.
addictive if you were anti-working out and then you started this like
I think
what
it's the
was
whole
it?
thing. It's the endorphins, but also the
drive of
pretty.
where you're getting.
Okay.
Yeah, and knowing where I was going, because the idea was I wanted to make music for it, because when I started, the stuff that the girls would listen to would like, it's beautiful music, but it was really the same artists over and over and over. And I was like, well, what if we made something kind of cooler? And so that was where I was going with it. I wanted to
Okay.
make a really beautiful song that was specifically made for this art,
Okay.
this dance.
So you perfect it. You are able to perform in front of crowds eventually, years later, 6
Yeah.
months later. Like how long does this take to learn?
I think I had my first performance. It was a burlesque performance, but I sang and then did aerial, and that was about a year later. But it was baby aerial, you know. It wasn't.
but still.
It wasn't the best performance I've ever done for sure. And then I think it was 3 years in that I did my first circus. It was a charity circus in Nicaragua, and then from there I just kept on going.
So the aerialist, like, is it hoops and then with silks? Explain to the audience a little bit about what that
Okay, so
encompasses.
aerial is acrobatics done high above the ground. So that can be either a trapeze, that can be hoop, that can be silks. My specialty is hammock, which is basically a silk that's attached up top. I also do a lot of hoop, and then I do tippy lira. I have a male partner named Tiago. He and I have a duo called Duo Aria, and we do tippy lira. So it's one hoop attached at the top with two span sets is what they're called, and then it's on a swivel that
Oh
allows
my
you to
God.
spin. And we do tricks inside the span sets, which is a little painful when your skin is exposed and it's a little tight on you. So I have one, for example, we do this position where it's around my waist, the span set is around my waist, and then I hold Tiago. So I'm upside down and he does a plank, which in and of itself is very, very difficult, but now I can hold him, which is cool because I didn't think that I would get to that level of holding a male partner, but it's fun, like, and it's aesthetically, it's quite cool,
Yeah.
so any of these can be, you can make it out of anything. I mean, there's different ones that are spiral and just any acrobatics done high above the ground. Aerial.
I would love to hear, like, where in the world have you performed, and like what kind of performances, like at a circus, burlesque, like where else? Like,
so a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So I just joined a cabaret. I work for several different companies. So it's basically whoever calls me and has a good offer for me, that's where I work and for whom I work. I guess with like the same as many jobs. So I've worked with a circus in Nicaragua, like I mentioned, and then I've worked, I mean, a little bit all over the place, but I just joined a cabaret called Joie de Vivre. And it's this French singer, along with acrobats and clowns and different things that you have in a cabaret, burlesque dancer, etc. So in this, I will sing and I will do aerial as well. And it will depend on the venue. So sometimes it will be lollipop, which is a stage that has a pole, and then on top of the pole there's a hoop. So instead of being hung from the ceiling, it's standing. And this, I would say, lately is one of the most common gigs that I have, because it's easy to bring places. So I've been doing a lot of weddings, a lot of birthday parties. I was just training. Wow! Yeah, it's really popular for this. I did a 27th birthday party in California last weekend. This is the youngest I've done for a birthday party, other than children. Children have this at their birthday party a lot. But yeah, really just everywhere. I've done a little bit of France and a little bit of Portugal. I was in France and England and New York at the beginning of this year, about 6 weeks. And so it's just kind of wherever they ask, I go.
Wow. Oh my God.
What has been your favorite?
Oh, in Thailand. Thailand was my favorite place that we only trained, actually. We didn't have a show there. But my aerial partner and I, Tiago, we went for a month to Thailand and we trained straps. Which to me was a little bit new, and he doesn't love spinning, so it was fun because it's really spin intensive.
Oh yeah,
and you're
so sick.
yeah, he does not love that. But you are attached on one arm, and then you do tricks together.
Oh my!
That was fun, and it was fun. Like there's even the language barriers and things of training in Thailand. It was fun.
It sounds magical, actually.
Accidents or any near?
I've fallen before. Not a lot. I've never fallen during a show, but I think I've fallen 3 times. One I thought my career was over. I was being held by my feet, not by Tiago, but by another partner. I was upside down and we did a throw, and luckily I have a very bendy back, and so I was able to move my body in a way that it didn't hit my spine. But when the people at the doctor's office saw the fall, everybody had them come in. They're like, "Oh my gosh, look at this!" And I was like, "Yeah,
oh my goodness,
maybe not something to do." I haven't been doing this throw lately. It's not worth
injuring.
Yeah. I'd rather do pretty but less dangerous things.
So do you feel safe most of the time?
Most of the time I feel very safe. I mean, I think it's just a matter of trusting yourself.
You must love it.
I love it so much. But you're not going to go and do something in a show that you don't feel comfortable with. So you practice it and you practice it and you practice it until you feel comfortable. And usually you try to practice it lower off the ground. Or you're not going to go straight up to 15 feet right off the bat. You're going to practice it low, and as soon as you're sure that you have it, especially if it's a drop or something like this, you just make sure that you really have it memorized, then you take it high up. Wow. And at that point, you're pretty confident.
You're brave.
So we understand as a young girl, you wrote a letter to yourself. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, you know those things that you write to your future self? They make you do it in school. I did that when I was 12, and my mother had it. And so I was in Italy when I was 22, And she said, oh my gosh, I found this little letter that you're supposed to open. And I was like, well, open it.
Like it hadn't been opened yet? And
It
she
hadn't
found
been
it?
opened yet,
Okay.
yeah. And it said, I'm coming home for my little sister's birthday. I've been in Europe. I don't remember which country I said, but I believe it was Italy. I've been in Europe, and I'm now a singer and a dancer and a clothing designer. And my mom goes, gosh, you know, it all makes sense, except that you don't dance. And I was like, yeah, that's really weird that I would say something like that, because there's definitely no dancing, and I'm not designing anything, you know. And then it was just amusing because, again, I was abroad, and I was coming home for a quick little trip. And then later, I became a dancer.
Oh my God.
and I was singing at the time.
Yes.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
at 12. I think that's amazing. I love that kind of stuff. Written in the stars.
Yeah, you just have to wish for it, and
You
then
do.
it happens.
So, like, what does your future look like? That has all these things have got you to now. Do you want to do this for long term?
So
Keep traveling?
I definitely want to keep traveling with it. Right now, the idea is to combine the music and the aerial more intensively, I guess. So I've started writing a circus where I want to have them. It's written in several different languages because I like travel, I like languages. And so the idea is to bring kind of my character, Little Elaine, through all these different obstacles and all these different challenges of life, but then to bring what she learns back to her community. Because I think that that's something that lacks in the circus community is people go, they leave wherever they're from, and they join this cool troupe or this group of people that's considered a little bit outcasts, right? I mean, circus has always been associated with that. And then they don't come back. And so I really like this idea of going, learning all these things, having these experiences, and then coming back. And I feel that even when I come back here and I'm with my nieces and nephews, and they're like, wait, you've been doing what? And you've been where? And my little nephew, you know, I'll be speaking in French or Portuguese on the phone, and he's looking at me like, who is this chick? Like, where did she come from?
That's such good exposure.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You get to really
Yeah.
share and say, oh, well, and then you show pictures and you show things, and then they can realize that, like, oh, wait, I can do that too. And it's not just something for you, it's something also that anybody can do. And then you bring back the skills as well. You teach, you know, if I learn something in Paris that I've never seen before, I can come back and teach a class and say, oh, look at this cool thing that I learned. So the circus, I want it to have that feel where it's very worldly. That's not the word that I want, but it has to do with cultural.
Encompassing.
Yes. Cultural
culture.
diversity in terms of the music, in terms of the characters, and then the little girl that comes back and says, "Hey guys, look what I saw, look what I learned, but I'm coming back to you, and I'm not just leaving forever."
I want to watch you. I want to listen.
I know.
Yeah, you've got really great energy.
We're so happy
Can we
to have met
can
you.
we follow you anywhere, like YouTube?
Yeah.
Or I mean,
I'm kind of everywhere, I guess. I just started a TikTok, which I was super against for a long time, but all of it's under my name, so it's Elaine Brackin.
Okay.
And then Elaine Brackin Music is my Instagram handle, no periods or anything. And then my duo is Duo Aria, DUO ARIA.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elaine.
I'm glad
having
that
us.
we're stopping in Spanish Fork so that we can hear.
Yeah, it's always my little home base. I go on that little river trail and
Yes,
have my little
good.
5-mile walks. Like, it's the most peaceful, beautiful place, and I always feel like that no matter where I've been, what I've been doing, I can come back to Spanish Fork as a home base.
Oh, I love
Bye
it.
and stay anytime.
Reminds me of The Greatest Showman, which makes me so happy. So, yeah, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
much.
so much.
Our next guest will help you get that green thumb out for spring. Stay with us to find out more.